Welcome everyone. Today I am going to start a new session on operating system, and before directly jumping into the operating system, few concepts that are required to be clear, and those are the hardware, the software. So what is a hardware, what is a software, and what is an operating system, how these things are related, how they are how they form the total system working. You also need to have basic idea and clear idea about the computer system. So before starting the actual operating system course, I want you to clear your concepts about the hardware and software. So starting with the hardware part. So what is a hardware? Before directly jumping on the operating system, let's start with the hardware. What is a hardware? A hardware is nothing but a collection of one or more electronic devices which are physical. It means you can touch them, you can feel them. They are the physical things. Hardware are the physical things. Hardware itself a plural form. You cannot write hardwares. Hardware itself a plural form. So when you are talking about many hardware devices, then you will also say the hardware. So a hardware is a set of one one or more electronic devices or components. But note one thing, provided that we are talking about uh, the hardware which is related to the electronics, means a wrench, a hammer, that is also hardware because you can touch them, so you can feel them. That's why those are also, they also fall under the hardware category. But when we are talking about a computer hardware or any hardware in the electronics field or computer science field, then we are actually referring to the electronic hardware devices. So hardware is basically the set of one or more electronic devices or components. Okay. Next, the software. What is software? Software is something which we cannot touch or feel. Means software is a, that's also a component, that's also a set of many components, digital components that are that you cannot touch. Means they are not physical things like the hardware. These also, software itself is a plural form, so you cannot write softwares. Software itself means you are referring to the software class. So there are many other aliases that we use for the software, that is program, app, or application. So these are the things that you cannot touch or feel, and hardware is the part that you can touch. Like if I am talking about a hammer or wrench or anything that fixes something or does something, that is a hardware. But when we are talking about a domain, in computer science domain or in electronics engineering domain, then we are talking about the electronic hardware components. So now let us see the hardware in more detail. And in order to do that, let us consider the von Neumann architecture. Von Neumann arch means architecture. That is, there will be some kind of input devices, set of one or more. Again, the set cannot be only for one device or one thing, because set means there are many more things. Set means the word set itself means that there are a lot more things that come under one thing. Means you are actually, there are many more things that comes under one thing. So this would be called set, and these are the set elements. These are known as elements. So when we are talking about hardware, so hardware is a set, or hardware is a set of electronic components or devices. So the elements will be the components, electronic components. In case of software, let's say the software category or software set, programs, uh, text documents, any digital thing, they all come under the software part or software category or software set. So here, when considering the von Neumann architecture, we have the input here. Then the input, the flow will be next. Next to the input, the flow will go to the CPU. This is a CPU, which is again divided into two components. One is ALU and the second one is the CU, and one more component, one more part, which is better to be considered, that is the register part. And finally, the primary memory. Here I am writing primary mem is memory. Okay. And finally the output goes out. The input devices or input hardware, they can be the mouse, the keyboard, any kind of device or hardware that instructs the computer or CPU to do something, to process some task. So we're actually sending instructions to the CPU using some kind of input hardware, and similarly we are actually displaying or outputting the processed output using some kind of, or implementing some kind of output hardware. And in here we have primary memory. This is required in von Neumann architecture. This primary memory has an important role. Let's say you are sending some bits, binary digits, to the CPU. The whole thing is known as CPU. I'm writing a CPU in the bottom. This is a CPU. So there should be some kind of primary memory. In case of von Neumann architecture and Harvard architecture, we will be discussing later. Primary memory is a volatile type of memory. Volatile means, simply put, some kind of memory which deletes any data within it if there is any power loss or any power failure. It means, as I'm calling this as a memory, primary memory, and also saying that this is a volatile type memory, it means whatever data, whatever bits, anything, generally bits, whatever being stored here, they will be erased on a power failure event or a power loss event. If I turn off the computer switch, then the power will go out from the RAM and the system will be shut down, and at the same time any data that is residing in the primary memory will be erased instantly. So we need this primary memory in this architecture, von Neumann architecture. It is very much critical component here. And because whatever bits we are sending in the CPU for execution, CPU alone cannot do the thing. CPU has internal memory which is also known as registers. This is also a memory. Like this memory, this is also a memory, and this memory, these CPU registers are the fastest kind of memory in the whole memory class. There are, if we are talking about memory class, there are many types of memory, many kinds of memories. Among all of them, the CPU registers are the fastest kind of memory. So these CPU registers are also here. CULU, these three components form the CPU. We are sending the bits inside, and the architecture will implement the primary memory is being used here during the execution, during the when I'm supplying the bits inside the CPU. They will be processed by the CPU with the help of the primary memory. This primary memory is required here. Without the primary memory, we cannot satisfy the von Neumann architecture, and finally, the output will be displayed to the either on the screen, or will be printed using some printer, or will be plotted using some plotter, or there could be some other kind of output device. And these days, the hottest trend is using no, the CNC, means computer numerical control devices. These devices also express the output, the process information in a printing way. If you have seen 3D printing on the internet, if you search about 3D printer, you will see that 3D printers get the information, the output from the processor. As processor uh, gives them the output, they will execute them using their own processors. CNC machines, they also have their own microcontrollers or processor. Simply put their own computer system. They will just calculate the output and do accordingly. And these machines are generally used to do very special things like 3D printing, or doing those boring works in a faster way. You can say in fastest way, like putting holes in a metal sheet, or putting holes in printed circuit boards, making copper traces. All of these manual, all of these works which we had to do manually, all they will be done using some kind of CNC machine. This is also an output device, but this is not a replacement for the display monitor, because display monitor is the most common output device, and we use them uh, to see the output. Simply put, when we are using some kind of computer system like PC or laptop, even your smartphone, they all have the output screen, the LCD screen or LED monitor. They are all output devices or output hardware. So this is a von Neumann architecture, and if we consider there is one more architecture in uh, which is generally compared with the von Neumann architecture, that is Harvard architecture. The Harvard University, they also have proposed at their time, they also proposed one type of architecture, and that is called the Harvard architecture. The only difference is that in Harvard architecture, oh, one more thing I should tell you, that is in this von Neumann architecture, this whole architecture, this could be supplemented by secondary memory. You can see that this von Neumann architecture, we can supplement this architecture by using some other kind of memory which is here. We call this as secondary memory, and this secondary memory is non-volatile type. Means whatever the data we are going to store inside this memory, they will stay there. They will not be used on a power failure event or power loss event, or in the event of shutting down the computer. They will stay there as it is and as they are, and we can access them for multiple times. uh, Means we can shut down the system, then even after 1 year 2 year we can again start turn on the system, and the data which we had saved in this secondary memory, they will stay there as they were. There will be no changes, provided that the drive is not corrupted or not broken. So, and this primary memory, this is also known as random access memory. Means this is a concept of primary memory, the concept of non-volatile memory, which is being used in von Neumann architecture. In reality, in practical world, we have implemented this concept using RAM, random access memory, and we have implemented a secondary memory concept using HDD, hard disk drive, or SDD, solid state drive, SSD, sorry, SSDs, and uh, SDs, which is again classified into many classes. SD storage device, SDHC storage device high capacity, SDXC storage device extended capacity. They all fall under the SD category. Hard disk drive, SSD, whatever the memory type is being used here, they all are of non-volatile type. Means whatever data we store into these memories, they will be uh, they will reside there as they are. They will not be changed by any kind of power failure event or shutdown event. They will be staying there. So this is the von Neumann architecture, and this is uh, not primary memory is mandatory, and this is additional. Actually, this is additional arbitrary. This is not mandatory here, but if you need to store the data, as you can see, you are just inputting the bits or series of binary digits using the input devices, feeding the bits into the system, into the CPU. But you will be processing those data, you will be processing these bits, but you have no way to store these bits for future use or further use, because these will be processed by the CPU. They will also go to the primary memory for most cases, but you cannot store them into the primary memory because this is a volatile type of memory, and you should have some way to save them for future use. And that's the scene where the additional memory, the secondary memory, comes into the picture. So this is a secondary type memory where you can execute the binary digits, sequence of binary digits or bits, and at the same time you can also save them if required. You can save them into the secondary memory, and in future if you need those data, you can again input some instruction to the CPU to fetch the saved data which you earlier which you saved in the secondary memory, and you will be fetching that data again into the CPU using the primary memory, and then we will be outputting the processed output to some output hardware. Here the one thing what we need to understand here, that is, in case of primary memory in von Neumann architecture, the secondary memory will have only one way to interact with the CPU, and that is via the primary memory. The secondary memory cannot interact with the CPU like this. When talking about von Neumann architecture, when von Neumann architecture is concerned, then we cannot then the secondary memory cannot, or the hard disk, SSD, whatever there is, cannot interact with the processor directly or CPU directly. It has only one way to interact with the CPU, and that is via the primary memory. It has to go first here and then the CPU. And again, if it gives some feedback, if the CPU gives some feedback, then the CPU will give the feedback like this. Full duplex communication, or that will be critical to say, because if it is half duplex or full duplex communication, one thing is sure that it's not simplex communication, because in case of simplex communication, the host and device A, device B, there will be the data flowing into only one way. This was simplex. For half duplex, there will be like this. Means one A will be sending data to B, and after completing that event, B will be sending data to A. Both cannot send data to each other at the same time. That is half duplex. And full duplex is there is like this. At the same time, they can send data to each other. That is full duplex. But here, what is being applied, half duplex or full duplex, that is critical to say. But I would say this is not a simplex communication. But the only way the secondary memory can interact with the CPU, that is via the primary memory. So this is about the von Neumann architecture, where communication like this is not allowed. But in case of Harvard architecture, the whole picture stays same, but this is allowed. In Harvard architecture, the secondary memory can interact with the CPU like this, and there is no communication with the primary memory here. So this is the thing. Now we have basic idea of hardware. As you can see, the basic computer system that demands first the input, then the CPU, primary memory, secondary memory, and finally the output. So these are the concepts, but when implemented in reality, in practical, then they all get converted into hardware parts. For input, output, keyboard and mouse. For CPU, the CPU itself, which is further divided into ALU, CU, and registers. And the PPM is for primary memory, SM is for secondary memory. Hard disk, the RAM, output is for the output device, as I discussed earlier. So these concepts will be converted into the devices, set of electronic devices. So if you talk about keyboard is also a set of electronic devices. The buttons, the controller, the wires, the USB cable, the circuit layout that is used under the keys. So they are all hardware. So in order to form a computer system, all these things are required, because you are not concerned about anyone is not concerned about the Harvard architecture, because that is not a practical architecture. The von Neumann architecture is applied everywhere, in your PC, in your laptop, in your smartphone. But Harvard architecture has also been applied into few IoT boards, few research cases actually. They are not applied any electronic device that is a successful consumer electronics has never applied the Harvard architecture. Again, I will say, any consumer electronics that is successful, any consumer product that is successful has never applied the Harvard architecture, because it was a research project and it's not that much popular. And everything you will see, any computer system, most of the IoT boards, PC and laptops, those are common. Even your smartphone, your TV set-top boxes, your DTH boxes, they all follow von Neumann architecture.